Welcome to The Catalyst, an exciting and insightful podcast produced by Northeast Iowa Community College. I'm your host, Amy Lasik. Together, we'll explore the people, programs, and partnerships that make Northeast Iowa Community College unique. From student success stories to behind-the-scenes info about athletics, innovation, and industry collaboration, each episode dives deeper into your community's college. Get ready for an inside look at the impact of community-driven education at NICC. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Catalyst. Today's episode is all about what can happen when two organizations come together with a shared vision. Northeast Iowa Community College and the West Delaware Community School District are embarking on an exciting partnership that will bring NICC's Manchester Center into a school district-owned building adjacent to the high school. And while this is a new location for us, it's much more than just a building. It's about creating new opportunities for students, expanding access to education and workforce training, and strengthening connections between the college, the school district, local employers, and the entire Manchester community. Joining me today are the two people who have been instrumental in bringing this vision to life. Ed Vance, who's our director of the NICC Manchester Center, and Jen Vance, who's the superintendent of the West Delaware Community School District. Ed and Jen, welcome to The Catalyst.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Great. Well, Ed, I think we'll start with you. Can you start by giving our listeners a picture of what's happening in Manchester and why this move is such an exciting opportunity for NICC?
Yeah, I mean, Manchester is just it's a great hub right at the intersection of 13 and 20. Really for Delaware County and the surrounding counties, it seems to be the place that is kind of that centralized hub where we get a lot of, obviously Delaware County, but a little bit of Buchanan County, Clayton County, Lynn County, people that are, this is their closest educational center. So we do get people into Manchester quite a bit.
Yeah, and I know NICC has been located in Manchester for a long time, but the space we are in, we've kind of outgrown that. But thank you to DuPaco for many years hosted us there, right, Ed?
Absolutely, 15 years
Wow.
is what I've gathered. I've only been here a couple of years, but for the 15 years we've been at the DuPaco Center, and certainly very grateful to them for letting us get a foothold in the community and get established. But you're right, it was time to move on and get a little bit better space that fit us both our needs a little bit better.
Yeah, and Jen, what a great opportunity to have a space in collaboration with the school district right next to the high school. From your perspective, how did this idea come about, and what made you think, I think this is a great idea, this can work?
Yeah, long before me, someone had the foresight to think that was a great purchase to purchase that building that is in such good proximity, and it's a building that's really set up. It was a former Catholic school, from what I understand, years ago, and it's set up to be used as a learning space. And it was housing Head Start, so they were making good use of a small portion of the building, but it really was not being maximized to its potential. And so really just looking at that as the district, we talked with our school board and our admin team, and and then the NICC, the people there, and it's a perfect use for that building. And I think it's great when that can happen, that we're very lucky that it was sitting there and ready to be used for something great. So the timing was good, and everything just seemed like it fell into place.
Absolutely. And how do you feel like this collaboration is going to impact your students and give them opportunities that weren't there before?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to open doors for them. It's new things that they haven't had the opportunity to do, or maybe some things that they've had the opportunity to do, but not in the way that they're going to be able to do that now. To have the CNA lab right there, that's a block away from us, that they can walk to and know that there's other spaces that we're going to be able to grow into, and they can have those in-person opportunities. I think that's awesome for our kids. Through this too, it opens another network for them that they don't necessarily have, when they think about the instructors that they might run into through these classes, or Ed, or anyone else at NICC that's there to support them. That's another network that they have now besides their West Delaware network. And so I think that's just an awesome opportunity for our kids.
Oh, very true. And Ed, Jen mentioned the CNA labs, but can you talk a little bit more about what else will be available in the new center? And how does that change how NICC works with students in the future that are looking to get dual enrolled classes done?
Yeah, so our CNA lab is going to be twice as big. We're still going to keep the student number, class count at the same, just because we want to be able to offer the best instruction possible. But now they're going to have more beds. They're going to have more opportunities for that hands-on learning. We're also expanding, going from one classroom to 4 classrooms. And one of those classrooms, or I should say 2 of those classrooms, is a double classroom that also can act as we're kind of calling it a conference room, if we have any larger events or if community members want to use or rent that space from us, that's going to be something that the community can benefit from. It's going to be about, I would say, about 40 people to fit in that space.
That's great.
So,
yeah, that's a great space. And I know I just had a meeting, I don't know, a couple weeks ago with the head of a healthcare hospital. And that was one of the things that they brought up is how do kids get to know all the different jobs we have? And you have a class coming up this first semester that addresses just that, correct?
yeah, so first semester, we're running a class called Intro to Healthcare Occupations, and that is absolutely is what that does. It's just a broad overview of all of the different opportunities in the healthcare industry. So many kids just think healthcare is just doctors and nurses and, maybe a couple other things, but they really, with our healthcare day that we have here in Delaware County as our school to work committee event, kids kind of get that little bit opportunity to explore. But this class is just going to completely, open their minds to all that's available in the healthcare industry.
That's fantastic. So it really, the center not only assists our students, but it's really going to make an impact on the community as well. How do employers get involved, Ed?
Well, we've already have great relationships with Regional Medical Center, Good Neighbor Society, and they're going to benefit greatly from, the kids that are getting those prerequisite classes right in high school, getting right into the either getting right into a job or, having some of those classes that, that are prerequisite that oftentimes can act as a little bit of a barrier, to getting into a nursing program or getting into a rad tech program or whatever. If they have those classes done, they're ready to go and get right into those programs and then right into the workforce.
Yeah, jump right in. So Jen, I assume you've worked in the education industry for more than a couple years and
Just a
things
few.
have changed over the years. What sort of shifts have you seen maybe in the last 10 years or so that make it so important for school districts and community colleges to collaborate and partner on something like this?
Well, I just think overall that the timeline of when things happen has become earlier. I think about our preschoolers are doing what we maybe would have done in kindergarten. Everything has just shifted to a little bit sooner, those timelines and milestones in kids' lives. And this is an excellent opportunity for us to work together to introduce them to things early. And I think about some of these opportunities and, like Ed mentioned, it gets them ready for the pipeline to go into a career, but some of it might be about discovering what they don't necessarily, it might help them rule some things out because they do have so many choices. And I think that's too, the world is so big now. And there's so many different things that you don't know what's out there, or you don't, you might have something that you think, and then the more experiences you have that molds that. And so I think that as far as things changing for kids' world, it's just things are moving faster. There's more of it and all of those things. And together it's hard for us as a school district in isolation to meet the needs of every student as far as introducing them to all those things. And when we have partners like you guys that are right in town with us, and I think it would be negligent to not enter into partnerships like that where we can help support the kids. And I think from a school district standpoint too, we have to be looking at ways we can make our district stand out. And what opportunities do we offer that really give kids the best shot at being successful, whatever path they choose. And like I said, you can't do those things in isolation. You have to have good partners. So
Yeah, and you're right. How many kids know what a lab tech does or
Mhm.
a CNA until you really get in there and you explore it and decide, no, this isn't for me. But then you got other students that go in there, yeah, I'm on the right path. This is exactly what I want to do. So we're glad to be able to partner with the school district to do that. And we mentioned it earlier, but the physical proximity to the high school really makes a big impact. Can you talk about that from that perspective, from a school district perspective?
yeah, just being able, sometimes when you get into situations, you can find things for kids or find opportunities, but they might have to drive a half hour, and then that cuts into what else they can do with their school day. You still only have, that 8 to 3 time frame with them for the most part. And so for them to be able to get this opportunity in a 2-minute walk or whatever it is, then that means that they still have the other opportunities that they want throughout the day. They're not having to make those choices of giving something to get something, that hopefully they'll be able to get the best of both worlds, and that proximity will allow that to happen.
Absolutely. And so, Ed, what excites you the most about this big move?
Well, prior to coming to NICC, I was a high school social studies teacher, and just used to that buzz, that energy that high school kids and just that whole high school atmosphere bring. So that is going to be probably the biggest thing that I look forward to, is having those high school kids over, and adult learners too. Um, I'd say the second thing would be not having to put in a bank disarm code every day.
Our
That's
security
another
looks a little
security.
different.
Yeah.
Does that make your anxiety go up when you had to do that, Ed?
For the first few weeks, it was up on the list. Yeah.
Oh, and so Jen, from a superintendent perspective, what makes you most proud about this, and what are you hoping people maybe 5 years down the road will look back and say about this project?
Yeah, I hope that someday they look back and think, the people that we've laid the framework and the groundwork for greater things to happen. I'm always looking to okay, now, it's not very often that you sit around a table with an idea and then a year, it hasn't, I mean, a year, roughly a
It's
year,
about a year.
that it came to action. A lot of times we have meetings about meetings and really don't get anywhere. So in education, sometimes that does happen. And so to get to see something actually, this is going to benefit kids. We started talking about it. We went through the steps and now here it is. And I think that's exciting because sometimes you don't get that. You don't get to follow the timeline like that. So that's a very exciting thing. And then just for me, I think this just opens the door to, what are some of the other offerings we can put in that space, and listening to feedback from our community, our employers, our kids, and things like that. What's that next thing? I'm excited to see what that might be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a full healthcare pathway that's going to be starting, but what are some things that we can put in there in the future is definitely on the radar for us to explore, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Ed, we've got something big happening this week. Do you want to talk about the upcoming open house?
Yeah, so on Wednesday, we're going to be doing a ribbon cutting and open house at 3:45. President Dave Doms will be down to say a few words, and I think maybe Jen too.
I think I
will
was voluntold for that. But yeah.
Yes.
We'll say a few words, and then we'll have a ribbon cutting, and then it's going to be self-guided tours. People from the community we would love to have them come and tour the center and just see, what sort of things that, and maybe even gather some ideas from community members that might have some ideas of what we could use the space for. But we welcome everybody to come in and check it out, and just take a look at what we got going on here in Manchester.
I think
Yes.
Ed's bringing snacks, right? That's a
As
big,
snacks.
yeah,
So if
snacks.
nothing else, come down for the snacks.
Yeah.
Well, and Ed, you're absolutely right. On August 19th, this Wednesday, you said 3:45. Anybody, businesses, students, parents, we welcome anybody just to come through and do a walkthrough. The space really is a remarkable space. The location and the work, Jen, that your team had done over the summer it looks incredible.
Yes, huge shout out to our buildings and maintenance crew. That it was a tight timeline a little bit, and
Very.
get all the moving parts and lined up, and yeah, they deserve a lot of credit for that. They did a great job.
Super exciting. Well, as part of our podcast, we do normally have a section that we call Fact or Fiction, where I will read off a statement and throw it to one of your way, and you just let us know if it's fact or fiction and add on any commentary you want to. Are you game?
Sure.
I'm in.
All right, Jen, we'll start with you. So, career and technical education, or as sometimes we say it in the education area, CTE, is an important part of K-12 programming. Is that fact or fiction?
That's a fact. Yes, that's a fact. That's a critical part of our programming.
And can you explain for those outside of the industry, when we say CTE, what sort of areas are encompassed in that?
So when you talk about at West Delaware, I think about our autos program, our welding program, what Mr. Carper does with his family and consumer science coursework, some of our ag classes. Those are the things I think about in CTE, just thinking about those skills that directly correlate to something that a student might encounter in a career.
Great. And Ed, how about this next one? The new facility will allow NICC to offer programming in the Manchester area.
Fact.
Absolutely. Yeah. So excited about that opportunity. How about Jen? High school students can now walk to the new Manchester Center from their main building.
Fact, they can walk. They might drive still, but they could walk.
There is a parking lot next to the
There
building.
is a parking lot. Yeah. It depends if they're going to scooters on their way, is probably what.
No, you're probably right. Ed, how about local regional businesses are not a part of the work that NICC does and will need to be doing in the Manchester Center?
That is definitely fiction.
Yeah, we definitely need them, right?
Absolutely. They let us know exactly what they need, and we try to do the best job that we can to get them, the people and the skill sets that they need.
Great. Jen, how about sharing educational facilities between school districts and community colleges is becoming more common across the country?
Fact.
Yeah, just in Iowa. In fact, there's quite a few collaborations happening across the state.
Yes. Yep. I'm excited to join that list.
Yes. How about Ed? Partnerships between schools and colleges can also benefit local employers.
Fact.
Great. All right, and this last one, I'm not sure how you're going to answer this one, but both of you, you must have the last name of Vance to work on this project. Fact or fiction?
Well, the fact that, her name is still Vance after this project.
I get to keep it.
So those that are listening that don't understand the inside joke, Ed and Jen are married and have done a fantastic job working together on this project. So, but you have had others involved.
They've kept
Absolutely.
the peace and keep us moving forward. I know
So-
sometimes it's like, are you talking to your wife or are you talking to the superintendent? What conversation
Yeah.
are we having today? Yeah.
Yeah. And, Ed's done a marvelous job of maneuvering, saying, that might come better from you to the
Yeah,
superintendent.
he's had some practice on that. He knows. Yeah, that's good.
Great. Well, I want to thank both of you for joining us. We are super excited. And Ed, do you want to put a plug in again for the open house this Wednesday, August 19th?
Yeah, open house Wednesday, the 19th at 3:45. All community members, businesses, parents, students, welcome to potential instructors, welcome to come and check out the space and meet us and see what sort of opportunities await.
Great. So 3:45 and it goes till 7?
Till
Is that
7
right?
o'clock. Yep.
Yeah. So if you don't get off work till 6 and you want to just pop by, feel free. We would love to see you. And we've got cookies, Ed, is that right?
Yeah, we got some cookies and bars, a mixture of things.
All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you both for joining. We're super excited. We hope to see so many of you at the open house on Wednesday. And Ed, one more time, the address.
408 East Clare Avenue in Manchester.
Great. We will see you all on Wednesday. Thanks so much to Ed and Jen for joining us today. And thank all of you for listening to another episode of The Catalyst. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Catalyst. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Want to learn more about NICC and the many ways we support our students, partners, and community? Visit nicc.edu for more resources and upcoming opportunities. This podcast is produced by Northeast Iowa Community College and hosted by me, Amy Lasik, with executive producer Tessa Hill, producer Travis Hunt, and graphic designer Ashley Konzen.